I got the gun, so
Got it.
that's my big
Hi,
one.
everybody. It's going to be on topic only. And the police commissioner will speak, and acting will also speak.
Good evening, everyone. As you can see, I'm joined by Mayor de Blasio to my right, who you'll hear from shortly. On my left, Chief of Department Terrence Monahan, Chief Patrol Juanita Holmes. We have Chief Jeff Madry, Chief of Counterterrorism John Miller. We have Dr. Cassidy from Jacobi Hospital, and we have Bronx DA Clark, as well as Pat Lynch here. Tonight's incident highlights the truly dangerous work that NYPD cops are exposed to every single day and night. Right away, I want to really thank the people at Jacobi Hospital for the excellent care that they afforded our police officer. About 10:29 tonight, members assigned to our Gun Violence Suppression Division were driving on Lafayette Avenue towards White Plains Road in the confines of the 43rd Precinct when they encountered a subject and initiated a stop. Everything I am about to say is preliminary at this point, but in the course of seconds, what we know is that our officer, we believe, fired 1 round. We believe the perpetrator fired 4 rounds. And during that exchange of gunfire, our officer was struck what we believe is 1 time in the lower back below his bulletproof vest. As I said, the firearm from the perpetrator was recovered. Here's a picture of it. Our brave officer is 31 years old. He is a 6.5-year veteran with the NYPD. Myself, Chief Monahan, Juanita Holmes, and the mayor visited with him and his family a short time ago. I can tell you that he is in a lot of pain, but thankfully we expect him to make a full recovery. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Commissioner. I want to start by thanking everyone at Jacobi Hospital for caring for our officer. Thank everyone who's here. Special thanks to our District Attorney, Darcel Clark. Everyone, tonight we saw extraordinary bravery. Extraordinary bravery. Here is an officer, a young officer, out there on the streets of the Bronx, getting guns off the streets to save lives. That's what he does. He's someone who goes out and puts his life on the line to protect other people in the most powerful way, by depriving criminals of their firearms. An extraordinarily brave officer, the kind of officer we depend on to be safe in this city. Anyone who wants an example of how hard the NYPD works, how committed our officers are, you see it this evening in the Bronx. And this officer, young man from a family that serves this city, many of his relatives are members of the NYPD, a family devoted to this city. The officer, thank God, despite the pain he's in, he was in good spirits. Thank God, it looks like he's going to make a very strong recovery. So we're counting our blessings tonight. But we have to remember to be thankful for the men and women who put on a uniform and do this extraordinarily brave work. It takes a very special person to go out in the streets at night and take a gun off a criminal. And thank God this good man is going to be okay.
I'll open it up for questions in a moment, but Pat, would you like to?
You know, I feel like I've said this before. Here we are again. We're here in the hospital. We're having a press conference, and we're asking why. It seems like people are getting numb to the fact that cops are getting shot. We're getting numb to the fact that there's victims in our neighborhoods, victims of gun violence. And it seems sometimes that the cops are running out in the street, putting themselves at risk. Gun violence is up 100% since last year. You have to ask yourself why and how do you solve it? Millions of dollars on violence interrupters and all these different programs and thoughts and prayers aren't going to work. What we need to do is put cops on the street doing the job we know how to do, train them, hire them, put them on the street, allow them to do the job, and then prosecute the cases when we bring them in. We have to stop acting like we're trying to reinvent the wheel. Policing is simple. Good guys and bad guys. We're the good guys that go after the bad guys. Unfortunately, we're here again because one of the good guys been shot.
So I'll open it up to brief questions. Again, I just want to say we're very early into this process. We have Chief of Detectives Rodney Harrison still at an active crime scene, but where we can, we'll provide you with information. Rich?
How were the officer's spirits? I mean, did he say anything to you? I know you said he's in a lot of pain, but could you share anything else about what he
Yeah, I spoke to the officer, some of his teammates, as well as Terry and Juanita, you know, and the mayor, and the family. They're very upset. They're very upset, but at the same time, they realize probably an element of shock, how it could have been very different, and they're trying to process that information.
Commissioner, were the officers investigating a mass shooting in the area, and is the suspect known to the department for a mass shooting?
So when you examine the suspect, the preliminary information we have right now is a male, 24 years of age, several arrests in New York City. He has a criminal record in Jersey. When you look at Miles, the breadth of what we sometimes talk about, it's probably on the lower end in terms of criminal record, what we have, but it's early, and we'll start the investigation from here. In terms of why they were there, again, this is the Gun Violence Suppression Division. They are the best at what they do. They are assigned to the streets throughout New York City for one very simple reason, to keep you safe. And they do an excellent job doing it.
Did they recognize this individual specific to?
Yeah, too early in the investigation. Right now, what we have is assigned within the confines at that location at time. They encountered this individual, and within minutes, within seconds, they were in a gunfight.
Do you intend to prosecute this as an attempted murder of a police officer? How do you plan to proceed?
It's too early. It's early right now in the investigation, so we'll have to wait and see. But my office is definitely working on it.
One or two more questions. Anybody else? Okay, thank you guys very much. Thanks for coming out at this time of day.
Thank you. Good night. Thanks, Justin.